So I'm very excited about today's lesson because we're going to look at the strategy M.U.S.H again. Can someone raise their hand and tell me what the M stands for?
Main idea.
Main idea. What does the U stand for? Undercover purpose. What about S? Text structure. And what's the H? Helps. Okay, so we've been working on this for quite a while. In today's text, we're going to be using money problems in the early United States. And the purpose of today's lesson is to look at these elements, main idea, text structure, purpose, and even the helps, so that we can really comprehend the text. Is this fiction or nonfiction? Nonfiction. Okay, it's actually going to be giving us some history about the money in the early United States. Okay, so what I'm going to do, we know the first thing as we read, what do we do before we even dig into the text? What do I need to do before I read?
Underline.
Who can help them out there?
Number the.
I want to number the paragraphs. That's my way of chunking the text. And that lets me know that when I finish one paragraph, I want to stop, I want to think about what I just read, and maybe even see if there's something that I want to underline or highlight. Okay? So this is one chunk, this is two chunks. As I read up here on the board, I want you to follow along. You have the paper in front of you, so make sure that as I'm reading, you're following along, okay? So, in our first chunk, it says, from 1776 to 1783, the American colonies fought a war against Great Britain. This war made the United States an independent nation. It gave Americans more power to choose the people who made their laws. That seems important, doesn't it?
Yes.
Okay? I think I want to underline that. It gave Americans more power to choose the people who made their laws. And we know laws do what for citizens?
Help
They can protect us, they help us, they give us structure, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's continue to read. The war solved many problems, but it also created problems. The new government had little money. The United States had borrowed millions of dollars from other countries to fight the war. Doesn't that seem important as well?
Yeah.
The United States had to borrow millions of dollars from other countries. So let's think about that. Let's say today in the cafeteria, Kimberly wants to buy chips. She didn't bring any money, and she borrows money from Felix. What is Felix going to expect? He's going to expect to get that money back, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's continue to read and let's see where this goes for us. It needed to pay that money back. The government also needed money to pay soldiers. These soldiers had risked their lives for the new country. So in paragraph 1, it started out by giving us the time period. We see that from 1776 to 1783, we had a great war, right?
Yeah.
But is the war our focus? No. What is the focus of this text? The money problems, right? Why did we need money? What were the two reasons that it said that we needed money? Sebastian.
To pay the soldiers.
Had to pay the soldiers. And why else, Hannah? To fight the war. We had to supply it. We had to supply it, right? Okay. So now what we're going to do, I want you to read chunk 2. And as you read chunk 2, I want you to underline important things. Now when we look at chunk 1, 2 things were important as Ms. Mike read. It gave Americans more power to choose the people who made their law, so that was the outcome of the war. But then we also see the problem that occurred because of the war. We were in debt. We needed to borrow money. We were broke. Okay? So I want you to read chunk 2 to yourself and I want you to underline what you think was very important in chunk 2, and I'm just going to walk around and see. Putting our pencils down in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so you all just read chunk 2. Would anyone like to read or tell me what sentence they underlined and why they thought that that sentence was important or why it stuck out to them? Okay, Adriana. Okay, she said it also allowed the government to tax people in order to raise money. Why were they trying to raise money?
So they could
So they could pay back the people that they borrowed money from. But how did they do this? This is very important because this was their solution. This is a way they were trying to solve a really big problem. But where did this come from? If I underline this sentence, what will be another sentence that will help me, Diego? Okay. They created the Constitution of the United States. And in the Constitution, that is where they decided, let's have taxes. Okay? Is there something else that is important in this chunk, Hannah?
That the government does not have all the money they needed, but the solution of the United States began to pay the debit.
Okay, they still didn't have all the money they needed, but this solution helped the United States begin to pay the debts back. Okay? Anything else? Right. So at the very end, it states something really powerful. It says, though the early United States had money problems, these problems led to the creation of the Constitution we use today. So it started out as a problem, but the solution has been a solution not just for the 1700s, but for our entire existence as a free nation is separated from Great Britain. That makes sense?
Yes.
Okay, so now that we've done that, and I want to state this as well, there are some key details, right? But it's okay if maybe you didn't underline all of these sentences. Maybe you did one or two of the same sentences. But as long as the sentences you underline support your answer or they support your idea of what the main topic is, that's all that matters. But does everything need to be underlined?
No.
No, because not everything is really important. Okay? So now that we have dissected, we've analyzed, we've really dug into this text, now I think we're ready to identify the main idea, the author's purpose, in the text structure. Okay? So we know that main idea is what? What the text is mostly about, right? Good job. So what was this text mostly about?
Money
problems in the early United States. And we know just from practice and from what we've learned, a lot of times the title will be our biggest clue of what the text is about. Sometimes the very end, the conclusion, will be a really big clue as to what the text is mainly about. Okay? So the main idea of our text today is money problems in the early United States. Okay. What about author's purpose? What are the 3 types of author's purpose? Give me one. Think pie. What does the P stand for? Who can tell me?
Persuade.
Persuade. What about the I?
Inform.
Inform. What about the E?
Entertain.
Entertain. Okay. And so, as you read this, were you persuaded to do anything?
Yeah. No.
What you doing? They weren't talking to us to persuade us on how to change our money problems. Okay. What do we think the purpose is? To inform. Okay, remember this. When it comes to being entertained, remember that E, just like how it stands for entertain, it also stands for emotions. If it doesn't trigger your emotions like happiness, sadness, if you're not laughing or crying, if that wasn't the purpose of it to be funny or entertaining, then that's probably not the best answer. But we do know that the entire article or the entire nonfiction text did give us information. It gave us information from the beginning all the way to the end. So what's going to be my answer? Inform. Now, let's think about text structure. You know, there are 5 different text structures. And we're going to do our little strategy. So if it is description, put a 1 on your chest. If it is sequence, put a 2 on your chest. If it is compare contrast, 3 on your chest. If it is cause and effect, 4 on your chest. And if it is problem and solution, put a 5 on your chest. What do you believe it is? Just put it on your chest. Okay. The answer is problem and solution.
Yes!
And let's quickly. Good job. Let's quickly identify some keywords and some clue words in the text that support that the text structure is problem and solution. Now, right away in my title, I already see the word problem. What is another one, maybe in chunk 1 that we see? Was there a word in chunk 1 that we saw again? Say again? Solve. Okay. What about when we look at chunk 2? There are some more up there as well because we see the word problem, right? Over and over. And then down here, what do we see, Mr. King? Solution. Right here. We see solve. We see problem, right? All right, so we see that word over and over again, and even if we were to annotate on the side, I know that when I read chunk 1, Sebastian, when I read chunk 1, it talked a lot about the problem, didn't it?
Yeah.
That's how the author organized their paper. This was the problem, and then down here they discussed the solution, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we just did a great job of identifying main idea, author's purpose, and text structure. So when you go back to your seats as you're independently reading Scholastic magazine, or as you're looking at iStation, I still want you to keep in mind our M.U.S.H strategy and to also think about those clue words and keywords that we can use to help us with identifying text structure. Okay? Great job on the carpet. Quietly go back to your seat and start working on your growth plan.